Hello, folks. Grandpa Jehoshaphat's the name, but you should call me Jehoots. I'm over 200, 1,600 years old. 2,600 years old, in case you didn't catch it right, because sometimes I don't say things right. Well, with that being said, I was around before Jesus' time. I was around before a lot of times. I was also around times in the country at the time with Dracula, and I outlived him. Yeah, it's a good story. We'll get there. We got so much to cover, I can't even begin. I just wanted to get out a basics introduction to the people. Enough is enough. But in case you're wondering how I'm so old and living, it's real simple. One I'm with now, and have been for over 100 years. Hundreds of years, actually. Was an elf. She's an elf. And I'm telling you, she gave me elf's potions. That's what she did. And ever since then, I've been this agent. The thing of it is that I had this hair. Is what really gets my goat. Is I had this. Yeah, I was old. I was old, and she gave me the potion when I was looking like this, and I was like, why couldn't you, in the name of everything, why couldn't you give me that potion when I was in my primes? Not when I if you're asking yourself, why get hair is simple. It's because I've already tried to cut the fucking thing 15 times and it just grows back. And so there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do about it. And well, she's here now and she's great. It's just we've been together for 200 something years, hundreds of years. And here she is calling me. She's watching one of them movies, pictures, and she's watching Jewish Creepers. Oh no, not Jeepers Creepers. Sorry, not Jewish Creepers. Yep. After all this time, you would think what's going to happen in the world, but I'll tell you that there's not much change happening. But the real part of it is just so much has happened that we can't go back. We can't go back and say, wow, why? Because it doesn't change. Simple enough. When we're getting to the core, cutting through the core of the apple, there's only a couple of things that come into play. One, that core is going to cut. And two, it might be rotten, but it doesn't matter because that core is going to be cut. So once we have done that, then we already know what to expect next. And I'll tell you too that I had a cane. It was given to me by the Japanese king in 1400s, and today's societies don't want to see you with an ancient cane. They want that in the museum, so they took it. They got our own stinking government took my cane, and it's sitting in a museum. I tried to argue about it, but there's nothing that can be done unless I stealth it, mission it myself. And I'm over 2,600 years old, so I can't. Like I said, after I took that elf's potion, she gave it to me. That's what I'm trying to tell you. She gave me that potion, and I haven't dead yet. I met her in the woods by a tree, but now they've covered it with multiple contusions, concrete contusions, what I call them. We were much better off just trying to swim in the water and live in the trees, but nobody wants to see that happen. That is reasonable enough to not have a brainstem. And once we establish that, we can go forward. But there is no going back from the way that it is now. I had personally 12,000 different methods for cooking rice cream. And you're probably asking yourself, what is rice cream? It's very simple. It's one kind that wouldn't have to have cream because the rice is its own preservative. China tried to get me on that one when I was there hundreds of years ago. Uh, they stole my rice recipe, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing today with fried rice and rices of all kinds. And you could say too that that's not what we're looking at here like that, but it's true. When you've already had 1,000 ideas and you had to bring them to the table, most tables weren't there. They weren't around. People sat on rocks to entertain themselves, skipping stones down the road. Why didn't they do it in the water? Well, simple reason of that is because water didn't make the same sound as the ground made. So we can't skip some water. But I can tell you that there's going to be a lot to talk about, and I just wanted to get my introductions out because after all, I finally figured out how to activate this. I've had it for I've had it for 10 years. Now I just press the button now, and now I'm doing it. So there's going to be a lot more to come. I also need you to understand, folks, that I do voices, and I'm going to explain how that happened in another time. But I don't want to leave your weary minds wandering about the streets, so I'll leave you with one more head. And when that head ups happens, you'll see. You'll see that it won't be downplayed. Because enough is enough. And now it's time to speak for the people. And that's who we are. It's people.